Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the podcast. And today, I'm going to give my review of WWE's Royal Rumble. Starting off the night, we start with the Women's Royal Rumble matchup. Io Sky is the first entrant of the Women's Royal Rumble match, followed by Liv Morgan. The match itself, man, I thought it was a good match. Back and forth matchup with everybody involved. Roxanne Perez is the third entrant in the match, followed by Lyra Valkyria. Chelsea Green comes out to the ring as well as B-Fab, Ivy Nile, and then Zoe Starks. Zoe Starks is then followed out by Lash Legend. Chelsea Green then eliminates B-Fab. Bianca Belair is the next entrant in the Women's Royal Rumble, followed by Shayna Baszler. Ivy Nile then eliminates Lyra Valkyria. Bayley is the next entrant in the Women's Royal Rumble, followed by Sonya Deville. After Sonya Deville comes out to the ring, Maxine Dupree also comes out to the ring as well. Maxine then eliminates Ivy Nile. Pure Fusion Collective then eliminate Maxine Dupree. After that, Naomi is the next entrant into the Women's Royal Rumble. Naomi and Bianca Belair eliminate Zoe Starks. All of Pure Fusion Collective get eliminated in the Women's Royal Rumble match. Jada Parker is the next entrant in the Women's Royal Rumble. Chelsea Green then eliminates Lash Legend. Piper Niven comes out to the ring. Piper ends up eliminating Chelsea Green. Natalya comes out to the ring. Jordynne Grace also comes out to the ring. Grace then eliminates Parker. Grace then hits a Death Valley driver on Piper Niven. The crowd goes crazy. Michin is the next entrant, followed by Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss finally returns to WWE. She's also, Zelina Vega also comes out to the ring as well. Candice LeRae comes out to the ring, as well as Stephanie Vaquer. Trish Stratus also comes out to the ring. Raquel Rodriguez comes out to the ring as well. Liv Morgan then hits a code breaker on Natalya. Natalya then gets eliminated out of the Women's Royal Rumble matchup. Liv then eliminates Alexa Bliss. After that, Charlotte Flair is the next entrant in the Women's Royal Rumble matchup. Michin gets eliminated. Flair then eliminates Piper Niven. Julia is the next entrant. Julia then eliminates Jordynne Grace. Nia Jax is the next entrant. Nia then eliminates Zelina Vega. Trish eliminates Candice LeRae. Nia Jax then eliminates Trish Stratus. After that, Nikki Bella comes out to the ring. Nikki Bella is the final entrant in the Women's Royal Rumble matchup. Stephanie Vaquer, Io Sky, Belair, Naomi, Raquel, and Liv Morgan all get eliminated. Roxanne then eliminates Julia. Nikki then eliminates Bayley. Flair then eliminates Nia Jax. Flair then eliminates Roxanne Perez. Nikki Bella gets eliminated as well. And your winner of the match, and moving on to WrestleMania, is Charlotte Flair. A couple of things I want to talk about, man, when it pertains to the Women's Royal Rumble matchup. Number one, I thought this was probably one of the best Women's Royal Rumble matches that we've got in the past few years, to be honest with you. And to be honest with you, the Women's Royal Rumble matches, they kind of get a lot of flack, man, to be honest with you. A lot of fans are not really, intrigued with the Women's Royal Rumble matches because they kind of feel stale and kind of like an afterthought. This year's Royal Rumble, as far as women are concerned, man, I thought they had a great Royal Rumble. We got some returns. We got some NXT, female roster a part of this Royal Rumble. We had Parker a part of this. We had Roxanne Perez. We had Stephanie Vaquer. We had the current NXT Women's Champion with Julia, also all a part of this Royal Rumble, as well as Lash Legend. All these women were a part of NXT, and they were part of the Royal Rumble. We get the official debut of Jordynne Grace. Now, if you guys don't know who Jordynne Grace is a former TNA member of the TNA roster. She's also a former TNA Knockouts champion. She was also a part of last year's Royal Rumble festivities. She was a part of the Women's Royal Rumble matchup last year. And the crowd, they loved having Jordynne Grace come into the Royal Rumble last year. And now she's officially a part of the WWE roster. And now she will be either on Raw or SmackDown for the foreseeable future, which I think is absolutely great. And to be honest with you, man, I think she's going to be a force to be reckoned with right out of the gate. I think they're going to be pushing her to the moon. She is a brick house, man. She is a force to be reckoned with on that the female roster. And to be honest with you, I think they're going to push her to the moon as well. I said the same thing about Jessica Fatu. I see the same thing with Jordynne Grace. She's a hell of an athlete, man, and she's going to do great things on the main roster for WWE. I look forward to what's going to happen next with Jordynne Grace. Then we get the return. We get the long-awaited return of Alexa Bliss. I think Alexa Bliss was the main vocal point beside Charlotte Flair in the Women's Royal Rumble match. There was a lot of things going on behind the scenes with Alexa Bliss. I know leading up to this year's Royal Rumble, I know she was having contract talks with WWE. And a lot of people were reporting that, Alexa Bliss really wasn't that close to signing a deal with WWE, and it looks like those rumors were false. And in fact, she actually signed, for what I believe, a new 5-year deal with WWE. So it's a big, big deal to have her back. I think it's a great addition to have her back on the main roster, back in the female, roster for WWE. And I think there's going to be a lot of things that, like I told you guys before, man, WWE is going to be cooking with gas this year. And bringing Alexa Bliss back, I believe she's going to be a part of the Raw roster. I'm all for it, man. I think, if anything, I would love to see a matchup between Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan. I think that'd be a great matchup, especially what Liv's been doing for the past couple of years. Obviously, what Alexa Bliss has done up to this point, and and what she did with the Wyatt family and stuff like that. A lot of people, obviously upon her return, were speculating if she was going to be a part of the Wyatt Six. It looks like that's not going to happen at the moment, with the Wyatt Six being a part of the SmackDown roster. And it looks like Alexa Bliss is going to be on the Monday Night Raw roster. So we're going to see, man. But I think it was great to see her back. She got a huge pop from the crowd when she came out. I was definitely excited to see her back. And we're going to see what happens, man. We're going to see what's going to be the next for Alexa Bliss in the future in WWE. And then we get the return of Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair was also a humongous vocal point into the Women's Royal Rumble matchup. Obviously, she was out with injury for quite a while, for months. She finally returns. I think she had a knee injury or a leg injury that, kind of put her on the sidelines for quite a while. She comes back, she returns in the Rumble, and she ends up winning the Rumble. And to be honest with you, I'm not against Charlotte winning the Rumble. Do I think Charlotte needed to win the Rumble? No. Absolutely not. But do I think it's something where we could see Charlotte Flair kind of cash in and go up against Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's Championship? Absolutely. And I think that's kind of the narrative that I'm getting on what Charlotte Flair is going to do. I mean, I could be wrong. It could be Charlotte going up against Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley's also a predominant champion. But, I know Charlotte's going to be a part of the SmackDown roster. And I would, to be honest with you, I would love nothing more to see Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. I think Charlotte came back in a great time. The female roster right now for both Raw and SmackDown is, definitely heavy at this point. And to be honest with you, I would not mind seeing a matchup between Stratton and Flair. Tiffany Stratton's really coming into her own, obviously being the current WWE Women's Champion. And Charlotte Flair looked great, man. Looked like she hasn't lost a step. And I look forward to see what's going to happen next. I look forward to, who she's actually going to challenge. Now that she won the Women's Royal Rumble, who she's going to challenge at WrestleMania. Is it going to be Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship, or is it going to be, in fact, Tiffany Stratton with the WWE Women's Championship? So hopefully we'll get some insight on that in the foreseeable future. But hats off to Charlotte Flair for winning the Women's Royal Rumble. Moving on from that, we go into our next match of the night. It's a 2 out of 3 falls match for the WWE Tag Team Championships. It is DIY taking on the Motor City Machine Guns. I thought it was a good match, man. Back and forth matchup between DIY and the Motor City Machine Guns, with DIY keeping the pace of the match. Ciampa hits a running knee, pins for the 3, gets the first fall for DIY. Motor City Machine Guns end up hitting a skull and bones on DIY, pins for the 3. Motor City Machine Guns get the second fall. Ciampa then hits a Project Ciampa in the middle of the ring for a near fall, but Angelo Dawkins comes out to the ring, attacks Chris Sabin, which allowed DIY to hit the finish, pins for the 3, and your winners of the match and still WWE Tag Team Champions are DIY. After the match, Angelo Dawkins then attacks DIY with a crutch. Looks like the Street Profits has some unfinished business with the WWE Tag Team Champions. Speaking of champions, we go into our next match of the night. It is a ladder match to decide the undisputed Universal Champion. It is Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes. I thought this was a great match, pretty much match of the night, in my honest opinion. Back and forth matchup between Owens and Rhodes, with Owens and Rhodes both exchanging in the middle of the ring. Owens then hits a scoop slam on Rhodes onto the ladder. The ladder ends up breaking. Owens then hits Rhodes with a ladder. Rhodes then gets up, hits Owens with a ladder. Owens then hits a back suplex on Rhodes off the ladder. Rhodes then hits a suplex on Owens on the ladder. Rhodes then hits Owens with a piece of the ladder that was broken. Owens then mocks Dusty Rhodes with the Dusty punches that he lands on Rhodes. Owens then hits Rhodes with a piece of the ladder. Rhodes then hits a backdrop on Owens onto the ladder. Looked absolutely brutal. Owens then hits a powerbomb on Rhodes on the ladder. Owens then hits a brainbuster off the middle rope onto the ladder. Nick Aldis is here. Zayn is here as well. Zayn then is checking on Owens and Rhodes. Rhodes then hits a crossroads on Owens. Rhodes then sends Owens into the post. Owens is busted wide open. Owens then hits a low blow on Cody Rhodes. Rhodes then somehow gets up, hits an Alabama slam, sending Kevin Owens through the ladder head first. Rhodes then goes back to the ring, climbs up the ladder, grabs the title, and your winner of the match and still undisputed champion is Cody Rhodes. Hats off to Cody Rhodes for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we go into our next match of the night. It is the main event of the Royal Rumble. It is the men's Royal Rumble matchup. I thought it was a good match, man. Rey Mysterio was the first entrant of this match, followed by Penta. Penta makes his Royal Rumble debut. He's the second entrant into the Royal Rumble. After that, Chad Gable comes out to the ring. Chad Gable is the third entrant in the men's Royal Rumble. Followed by that is Carmelo Hayes and Santos Escobar. Otis comes out to the ring as well. Gable then applies an ankle lock on Otis, but the hold is broken. Braun Breaker comes out to the ring. Braun then hits a spear on Carmelo Hayes. Braun then eliminates Carmelo. Braun then hits a Frankensteiner off the top rope on Gable. Braun then hits a spear on Santos. Santos then gets eliminated. Tozawa is the next entrant, but Carmelo Hayes attacks Tozawa before Tozawa gets to the ring. Tozawa then is replaced by I Show Speed. Speed then eliminates Otis. Braun then hits a devastating spear on I Show Speed. Braun then eliminates Speed. Sheamus then is the next entrant. Sheamus hits a brogue kick on Braun. Jimmy Uso is the next entrant, followed by Andrade. Then Jacob Fatu comes out to the ring. Fatu then hits a double Samoan drop in the middle of the ring. Fatu then eliminates Chad Gable and Rey Mysterio, followed by Fatu eliminating Andrade. Ludwig Kaiser is the next entrant. Penta then eliminates Kaiser. Miz is the next entrant in the men's Royal Rumble, followed by Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry comes out to the Rumble. The crowd erupts. After that, Roman Reigns comes out to the Royal Rumble. Roman Reigns then hits a spear on the Miz and Sheamus. Miz gets eliminated, followed by Sheamus being eliminated, as well as Joe Hendry also being eliminated. Braun then hits a spear on Roman. Roman then gets up, eliminates Braun. Fatu then eliminates Jimmy Uso. Fatu and Roman both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Roman hitting a spear on Jacob Fatu. Drew McIntyre is the next entrant in the men's Royal Rumble, followed by Finn Balor. Nakamura comes out to the ring as well. Penta then gets eliminated. Jey Uso is the next entrant in the men's Royal Rumble. Nakamura then gets eliminated in the men's Royal Rumble matchup. After that, AJ Styles is the next entrant. AJ Styles finally returns back to WWE from injury. Braun Strowman is the next entrant. Braun then eliminates Jacob Fatu. John Cena is the next entrant in the men's Royal Rumble. John then eliminates Strowman as well as Finn Balor. Roman then hits a spear on Drew McIntyre. Punk is the next entrant, followed by Seth Rollins. Dominic Mysterio is the next entrant. Dominic Mysterio then hits a frog splash on John in the middle of the ring. Zayn is the next entrant. Zayn then hits a luva kick on Drew and Seth Rollins. Damian Priest is the next entrant. Priest then eliminates Dominic Mysterio. LA Knight is the next entrant. Knight then hits an elbow drop off the top rope on John Cena. Sami Zayn gets eliminated in the men's Royal Rumble matchup. Logan Paul is the last entrant in the men's Royal Rumble. McIntyre then gets eliminated, followed by Knight eliminating Priest. Styles then eliminates Knight. Logan then eliminates AJ Styles. Punk then hits a GTS on Logan in the middle of the ring. Roman then hits a Superman punch on Cena. Roman and Rollins both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Punk eliminating Roman and Rollins. Logan then eliminates Punk. Rollins then hits a foot stomp on Roman on the outside. Cena then eliminated Logan Paul. Cena and Jay are the last two in the ring. Cena and Jey Uso both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Cena hitting a 5-knuckle shuffle on Jay in the middle of the ring. Jay then gets up, hits a spear on John Cena. John then goes for an attitude adjustment on the outside. Jay counters it and ends up eliminating John Cena, and your winner of the men's Royal Rumble matchup and moving on to WrestleMania is Jey Uso. Hats off to Jey Uso for getting the win in this matchup. A couple of things I want to talk about, man, when it pertains to the Royal Rumble. Number one, the Royal Rumble to me has always been and will always be one of my favorite pay-per-views of all time for WWE. It's definitely in my top 3, top 5 of all time. It's always been synonymous with professional wrestling, with what they brought to the table at the Royal Rumble, what the Royal Rumble means, and it's synonymous with professional wrestling, especially WWE, because the winners of the respective Rumbles, whether it be the women or the men's Royal Rumble, they get a chance to main event WrestleMania for a title matchup, and it's a big, big deal. With that being said, though, when it pertains to the men's Rumble, man, there was a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, that were legitimately pissed off that Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble. And I don't know why. I know a lot of people wanted John Cena to come in to the Rumble and win. So let's start with Cena and give you my take on John Cena. Number one, John Cena is one of the greatest of all time. 16-time World Heavyweight Champion. It was great to see John back. I think John, for what he's done in his career up to this point, man, he's had a fantastic career. Hell of a career. And he's pretty much an ambassador for WWE. Hands down. Hands down. But when I saw John enter the Rumble, obviously John, there's a lot of ring rust with John. And John's up there in age, man. I mean, John, he's not back in his 20s or his 30s anymore. John's up there in age as far as professional wrestling is concerned. Do I think John Cena could still have another 10 years? Sure. But with what I saw with John when he came out to the Rumble, man, there's a lot of ring rust with John Cena. And obviously this is not the same John Cena that we got 10 years ago. Hell, not the same John Cena that we got 6-7 years ago. So a lot has changed. Did I think John was going to win the Rumble? No, I didn't. And there's one big reason for that. Number one, yeah, obviously everybody's talking about John going after the World Heavyweight Champion or Cody Rhodes for the Universal Champion to become 17-time World Champion and break Ric Flair's record, which that would be it'd be incredible. History in the making. But when I look at the narrative with John was already being booked for the Elimination Chamber, which is March 1st. Literally a month away from the Royal Rumble. If John would have won the Royal Rumble, there was no way in hell that John would have been wrestling for Elimination Chamber. What was the purpose of him being in the chamber? None. The guy already won the Rumble. He already has a clear shot to the main event of WrestleMania. He was already advertised for Elimination Chamber. He was already on the marquees for the Elimination Chamber, on the poster. He was going to be a part of the chamber. And this was already announced well before the Royal Rumble took place. It was already, speculated that he was going to be a part of the Elimination Chamber. His last stop for the chamber. So, long story short, I knew John wasn't going to win the Rumble. Because John was going to be a part of the Elimination Chamber. And you know what? To be honest with you, I don't hate that. John, I think with Cena's going to, and don't get me wrong. First and foremost, don't get it twisted. If Cena is entering the Elimination Chamber, whether it's for a title opportunity or it's for the Universal Championship, if Cody's a part of the Elimination Chamber or if Gunther's a part of the Elimination Chamber, who knows? That could be another option where John Cena does get a win in Elimination Chamber and becomes a new champion. That's also a possibility. I'm not ruling that out. But as far as if that were not to happen for John, I think what John's going to do is he's going to be a part of almost every PLE moving forward throughout the calendar year of 2025 to have his final run in WWE. Now, do I think he'll be a part of WrestleMania? Yes, I do. It might not be in a championship matchup, but I think he will have a match or something for WrestleMania, yeah. This is his final farewell tour, man. This is it for John. John's done after 2025, and he's moving on to greater pastures. He's retiring, and he's done. He's riding off in the sunset. And rightfully so, man. Like I said, the guy's had a hell of a career, but I think with John, like I said, man, you got a lot of PLEs coming down the pike here for 2025. A lot. You got all these other PLEs announced in other countries. You got Mexico City possibly having a PLE. You got, I think it was also announced that Backlash, I believe, is going back to France. So, if I'm not mistaken. So, I think my thing is he's going to be a part of every single PLE, in my honest opinion, throughout the calendar year of 2025. And rightfully so. How you book him for matches throughout the calendar, throughout the calendar year for the next, 10 months, 11 months, who knows? Or at least up until WrestleMania. I don't know. And that's the thing. We have, John Cena's going to be with WWE up until WrestleMania. Here we are in February. We got 2 months, or at least 1 full month in, 2 weeks? Something like that. Maybe a little bit over 2 months until we get to WrestleMania. And then John's out of here. So what better way to have John a part of WWE to have him on these other PLEs? That's why I wasn't surprised with the outcome, that the fact that John Cena didn't win the Rumble. He was already booked to be a part of the Elimination Chamber. If John won the Rumble, there was no need for John to be a part of the Elimination Chamber. He already had his golden ticket to WrestleMania. There was no need for him to be on the Elimination Chamber. The other thing that really pissed me off was the fact that a lot of people got pissed off with the fact that Jey Uso won the Rumble. To me, honestly, I think that's crazy. I legitimately think it's stupid, to be honest with you. This is one of the guys in WWE right now is the biggest babyface in the company. And he's marketable, man. I mean, this guy, he's printing money at this point with the whole Yeet thing, and the fans are gravitated towards Jey Uso. And, I mean, he's had a hell of a run, man. I mean, I said the same thing about Jey a couple months ago when he won, the Intercontinental Championship. Rightfully so. The guy has busted his ass to get that opportunity and be a main event star. And he's done that shit all on his own. Absolutely. He wanted to take a chance on himself, and he became a main eventer. Absolutely. So I was not pissed with the outcome due to the fact that Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble. But the interesting part of this is, how is this going to work with Jey? And what I'm saying to you is obviously Jey is going to WrestleMania. He's going to challenge for the either the World Heavyweight Championship, or he's going to challenge Cody Rhodes if he still has the belt into WrestleMania for the Undisputed Championship. This throws a curveball with a lot of shit. And I think that, to me, is my issue with Jey winning. Because if we're looking at it from a storyline base, how is this going to work out and pan out for Jey? To me, it's a double-edged sword, man. Because Jey won the Rumble, Jey could actually cash in at the Rumble and go after Gunther for the World Heavyweight title if Gunther has the World Heavyweight title all the way out to WrestleMania. Because Jey has still yet to beat Gunther. And what better way to overcome that battle than have a match at WrestleMania, the grandest stage of them all, being WrestleMania, and Jey finally gets that win over Gunther, and for the first time in his career becomes World Heavyweight Champion. That story kind of writes itself. That's the route that he's going. I'm all for that. I'm absolutely all for that. Because the story writes itself. But then on the flip side of the coin, you look at someone like Cody Rhodes. And Cody, in that situation, would be the wild card. Because who is going to challenge Cody Rhodes for the Universal title at WrestleMania? And I think that's something where maybe the Elimination Chamber comes into play. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to, play itself out for the next couple months, especially when it pertains to Cody Rhodes. He just had a great match, a barn burner, with Kevin Owens. I mean, that match was absolutely incredible, which we will talk about here soon. But it was incredible. But that's my biggest thing. I'm not pissed that Jey won the Rumble. No, I'm happy that Jey won, and rightfully so. Jey's the biggest babyface in the company right now. He's marketable. He's busted his ass to get to where he's at right now. You can't really talk shit about that with what this guy has done in his career. It's admirable, man. He's worked his ass off to get to where he's at right now. So you can't shit on that. If you are, then I don't. God bless. You know what I'm saying? But he deserves the spot that he's in. And if I was, writing the story out for Jey, I think for me personally as a fan, the story that makes more logical sense for Jey leading up to WrestleMania, because obviously he's going to challenge either Cody or Gunther for the World Heavyweight title for the titles. I would have Jey go after Gunther for the World Heavyweight title. This is something that's eluded Jey. Jey has tried to beat Gunther and has come up short, and it's something that Jey believes that he can beat him. And what better way to do that than have a rematch between Jey and Gunther at WrestleMania and have Jey go over and finally beat Gunther and become World Heavyweight Champion. It kind of, like I said, man, it kind of writes itself. But then, like I said, on the flip side of that coin, you look at Cody Rhodes, where if Jey does pick Gunther, then where the hell does this leave Cody? And that's the $1 million question with all of this, man, is who is going to challenge Cody Rhodes for that Universal title at WrestleMania? Because, like I said, usually WrestleMania it's WrestleMania. It's the biggest show of the year. It's a Super Bowl for professional wrestling. It's the best versus the best. You know what I mean? So I don't know where that's going to leave Cody Rhodes. But again, man, hats off to Jey Uso. Look forward to what's going to happen next. Look forward to who he's going to actually challenge at WrestleMania, for whether it's going to be Gunther for the World Heavyweight title or Cody Rhodes for the Universal Championship. Definitely looking forward to that decision here, hopefully relatively soon. But speaking of Cody Rhodes, man, I talked about this earlier. I wanted to talk about Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens. This was a fantastic match, man. A lot of people were saying that this match had a lot of resemblance to Cactus Jack and Triple H. If you guys remember, that Rumble match happened, years and years ago. This was a fantastic match. And again, I'm not trying to say that Cody is Triple H or Kevin Owens is anywhere near Cactus Jack. No, those guys are both absolute legends. And you know what? Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens are future legends in their own right. But my God, man, this match is, to me, for WWE, is up there for match of the year already. This match was incredible. The story, the build-up, the contract signing, the nostalgia, like I mentioned, a couple days ago, that it had a lot of resemblance to Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, who actually is the Intercontinental Champion, when Shawn and Razor were going, head-to-head with each other at WrestleMania 10 to crown the undisputed Intercontinental Champion. This had a lot of nostalgia feel to this, considering the fact that you had the Universal Champion at the time, Cody Rhodes, and the guy that pretty much self-proclaimed himself as the World Champion, walking around with the Wing Eagle title that we haven't seen, Christ, I don't know how long, since Kevin Owens have had it. We haven't seen that belt in so long. So you had two guys that, that were saying, hey, I'm a world champion. And then we're going to find that out at Royal Rumble in a ladder match. And the match did not disappoint, man. To me, it was match of the night. This could have main evented Royal Rumble. Hands down. This was a fantastic match. It was a great build. It was a great storyline leading up to this matchup between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. And these guys tore the fucking house down, man. And I was excited, man. I tell you, that spot with that Alabama slam that Rhodes landed on Kevin Owens, and Owens went head first through that ladder, man. It looked absolutely fucking brutal. And hats off to Kevin Owens, man. That guy is a beast, bro. That guy, Kevin Owens, he ain't no bullshit, man. Kevin Owens, that spot was absolutely fucking brutal. To see him go through, I haven't seen a spot like that, especially with a ladder, or having somebody's head go through, like whether it be a table or a ladder, to be honest with you, since the Mankind Cactus Jack days, which is crazy. To see him get slammed like that and have his head go through that ladder, and then you see Sami Zayn freaking the hell out, you see Nick Aldis freaking out, and then, you see Cody Rhodes, hobble back into the ring and slowly climb that ladder and grab those titles while Kevin Owens is pretty much knocked the hell out ringside because he's, laid headfirst through a damn ladder. It was a crazy scene to see, bro. And I think they did a fantastic job with how they put that match together, man. It was a fantastic match. Both those guys tore the fucking house down. And again, man, it's one of those. It's definitely one of those things where you look at, with Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is probably one of the best heels in the business, hands down, hands down. Does he deserve to be a world champion? Absolutely. Kevin Owens is definitely championship material. If you don't think that, then you should not be watching professional wrestling. Kevin Owens is a goddamn beast. But they're pushing Cody Rhodes to the moon, man. Cody Rhodes is an ambassador for WWE. I mentioned this, a couple days ago. He's the guy carrying the flag right now for WWE. He's the guy at the front of the line representing WWE, and he's doing a fantastic job by doing so. I think he represents his company very well. And he's a businessman. He knows exactly what the hell he's doing, and he's doing a fantastic job with the build-up towards these matches. And, man, you want to talk about, the build-up towards this match. Like I said, man, I can't stress that enough. It was great. Had a lot of nostalgia wrapped around it. He had Shawn Michaels a part of this storyline with him being there for a contract signing between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens at Saturday night's main event. And you see Shawn hit a super kick on Kevin Owens. It just had a lot of nostalgia, man. Like I mentioned earlier, and I mentioned it multiple times, it just gave off vibes of Shawn and Razor. And that's exactly what I took away from that. And then it went from, okay, well, we get a little nostalgia here with Shawn and Razor. And then when the match happens, then we get, okay, well, then the hell with what happened with Shawn and Razor at WrestleMania 10. This shit's turning into Triple H Cactus Jack at the Royal Rumble. You know what I mean? It turned on a dime very quickly. And honestly, for the better. It was a great fucking match. It told a great story. And it just shows the tenacity that both these guys have in the middle of that ring. And it shows the grit that Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens both have. Man, these guys are future Hall of Famers, future legends of this sport. And, yeah, it was a great match, man. To me, honestly, it could have been the main event of this year's Royal Rumble, hands down. Not taking anything away from Jey. Not trying to take anything away from Jey Uso or the men's Royal Rumble. But this was one hell of a match. And again, with the men's Royal Rumble, man, there was a lot of vocal points for the men's Royal Rumble too. And a lot of shit has come out about that. Obviously Jey Uso won. There was a lot of people I mentioned earlier that were pissed off with Jey winning. But there was also news that came out about Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre got eliminated in the men's Royal Rumble. It looked like it wasn't supposed to go down the way that it did. and Drew McIntyre stormed to the back. He was pissed off. He was irate, and then he actually left the arena pissed off because Damian Priest eliminated Drew McIntyre. They looked like Drew McIntyre didn't get enough time in the Rumble, and he got pissed off. And it looks like Drew McIntyre might possibly have a matchup with Damian Priest. It's been reported that we might see Priest versus Drew McIntyre if McIntyre does decide to go over to SmackDown. Or, maybe he's a part of the transfer window. I know he was a part of SmackDown, but I don't know if he's officially a part of SmackDown or not. I think he is. And a lot of people are saying they might be pushing this match towards WrestleMania. To me, that I have a fucking problem with. Because with all due respect to Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest, this is a glorified SmackDown match. I mean, you could also have this match a part of the Elimination Chamber. This does not have to drag out for 2 fucking months leading up to WrestleMania. It does not need to happen. It doesn't. I even mentioned this about Damian Priest the other day, before the Royal Rumble, that with Priest now being a part of SmackDown officially. There's been rumors and speculation that, Mr. Aleister Black might be on his way back to WWE. I think what better way to have Aleister Black debut than attack Damian Priest. Obviously, Priest is a huge baby face. Aleister comes in as a heel. Again, the match kind of writes itself. Zelina Vega's also over in, SmackDown. Obviously, Aleister Black and Zelina are together. They are a couple. So, it kind of works out hand in hand for, Aleister Black. If Aleister comes back into WWE, I want the same music that he had. I want the same stage production that he had. I want what he had in NXT. I want that Aleister Black. And I think it would be great to have his first match, or his first storyline, if you will, between him and Damian Priest. I think it would be great. But now with Drew McIntyre, I don't know if that's going to kind of take precedent over that. And to be honest with you, am I all for a WrestleMania matchup between Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest? Absolutely fucking not. No. I've talked to so many people saying that they hope that this doesn't happen. And I have to agree with them. A lot of people are saying that it's a glorified SmackDown match. I try to give them the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, it could be another PLE match on the main card. But WrestleMania, I don't know about that, man. That's pushing it, to be honest. But why? Because Drew McIntyre got pissed off because Priest eliminated? It's the fucking Rumble. Tough shit. You know what I mean? Like, how could he really build a storyline off of that? Oh, well, I got eliminated too early. Obviously, there's some personal issue there, with Damian Priest storming. Not Damian Priest. Drew McIntyre storming off, getting pissed off, and wanting to, and fucking leaving the goddamn Rumble and driving off into the hell with y'all. But taking that at face value, do I think there should be a storyline there between him and Damian Priest? I don't. I really don't. And then you see, there's also Jacob Fatu and Damian Priest after what Fatu did to Priest after their matchup on SmackDown. So, are we going to see Fatu and Damian Priest more in, storyline? You know what I'm saying? So, again, it's just, I don't know. With the people that are reporting saying that you might see Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre and building that up to WrestleMania, you can miss me with that shit. That would be a fucking mistake, to be honest with you. Nobody wants to see that for 2 months. And to be honest with you, like I said, man, some people are like, yeah, it's a glorified SmackDown main event. Yeah, I'll try to give it the benefit of the doubt and say, oh, it can be on the main card for a PLE, sure. But I don't know. Looking at it from face value, I don't see the point. And I definitely don't see the point of building these two guys into a matchup leading up to 2 months away from WrestleMania. And the only stickler in that storyline was, oh yeah, Damian Priest eliminated me in Royal Rumble. Tough shit, man. Welcome to the fucking Royal Rumble. You're going to get eliminated. If you don't watch what the fuck you're doing, you're going to get eliminated. That's just the way it is. That's how you win the fucking match. You get eliminated. Some people were even pissed off with Penta. With the fact that Penta, got tossed over the rope, and technically you're out of the match if both feet touch the floor, and then you look at a slow-mo of Penta getting tossed out of the ring, getting tossed over the rope, and then you see both feet tap that floor, and the referee doesn't call it. So, there was a lot of confusion in the men's Royal Rumble. And I love Penta, man. Penta's great. I think Penta being a part of the main roster, I think it's great. And to have Penta come out as a second entrant and Mysterio starting it, kind of having a little nostalgia there between, Rey and the future, if you will, with Penta, yeah, I was all for it. Absolutely all for it. But there was a lot of confusion in that matchup with the Rumble. Absolutely. And the shit with Drew, man, I don't know. I think if they're building this into a storyline due to the fact that Priest eliminated Drew in the Rumble, it's a hard sell, man. It really is. Because that's what the Royal Rumble's all about. You win the match by throwing 29 other people over the top rope. They hit the floor. If you're the last person in the goddamn ring, you win. You main event WrestleMania. That's always been the mantra, if you will, of the Royal Rumble. That's how you win the fucking match. So if we're going to build something like that for 2 months straight between Priest and McIntyre leading up to WrestleMania, I don't fucking get it. To me, it's not, you can miss me with that shit, man. I don't see why. Because he got eliminated in the fucking Rumble? Tough shit. That's the way the cookie crumbles, my friend. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. And then, like, obviously there's some legit heat there due to the fact that it was reported that, like I said, Drew McIntyre got pissed off, went to the back, got irate, and then, packed all his shit and left, the arena. So, clearly he was legitimately pissed off with the outcome of him getting eliminated in the Royal Rumble. Did I see McIntyre win in the Rumble? No, I didn't. I did not. I did not see him win in the Rumble at all. I'm not saying he's not a great athlete. No, he's a great superstar. One of the biggest heels in the company right now. But Damian Priest versus McIntyre, and then building that towards WrestleMania, I don't know about that, bro. I don't. But like I said, man, the Rumble to me it's one of those special events. It always has been. It always will be. And it's a time where, you had injured superstars that have been on the shelf for months. They finally return. We get the return of Charlotte Flair. She's been out with leg injury for a while. Alexa Bliss has been gone. She returns at the Rumble as well. AJ Styles returns to the Rumble. We get the debut of Jordynne Grace, officially a part of WWE. So, I mean, it's a great way to bring in these superstars. And you don't have to automatically put them in a storyline to bring them back. It's a great way to do that. It's definitely one of those things that gets the fans invested. Every single fan of professional wrestling should love the Royal Rumble, because you never know what you're going to get. Once that that clock starts ticking, man, and we get the 10, the 9, the 8, the 7, the 6, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then that bell sound goes off. Nobody knows who's coming through that curtain. You know what I mean? And then when that person comes through that curtain where you're like, holy shit, I can't believe they're back, or I can't believe they're in the Rumble. I mean, we've had those moments with the Rumbles for years, bro. Years. I remember when AJ Styles made his debut at the Royal Rumble. I think it was, 2015, 16, something like that? I could be wrong, but I know it was like something, I think 15 or 2016 or something like that he came and debuted. I think he debuted in the Rumble, and the crowd erupted. And AJ Styles was the name. He was the guy that was carrying TNA on his goddamn back. So to see Styles, debut with WWE in the Rumble, the crowd erupted. You know what I mean? And you see Jordynne Grace finally, be a part of the Rumble and actually be a part of the roster for WWE. You see Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry's not even signed to WWE. He's signed with TNA. But because he's such a big name over in TNA, fans love Joe Hendry. So when he came out to the Rumble and his music hit, the crowd erupted. Just because of who he is and the name that he made for himself over in TNA. So again, it's one of those things where you just don't know really what the hell you're going to get with the Rumble. You just don't. Anybody could have came out to the Rumble. It's the best way to bring somebody on TV without writing them a storyline and try to feed them into the mix in the main roster. There were some people that even said too, like, oh, what's going to happen if WWE keeps bringing in these talents and the roster gets too bloated? Yeah, it's a possibility. I mean, it's always a possibility of the roster getting too bloated and people not being showcased on television and some people taking a back seat. It just happens, man. It happens. I mean, look at AEW. It happens a lot with AEW. So it's going to happen with WWE too, but WWE has a better idea of what the hell's going on and how to utilize their talent. They've always been pretty decent with, at least since Triple H has kind of took over. They've always been really good with that shit. So I can't really knock them for, bringing in certain talents. I know Josh Alexander is also testing free agency. So, right, like I told you guys, man, at the end of the day, WWE is the hottest ticket in town. Hands down. There's not another wrestling promotion or company out there that is even coming close or trying to even come close to compete with WWE right now. It's just not going to happen. AEW sure as hell ain't doing it. Not New Japan, not TNA. I mean, TNA is obviously working with WWE at this point. And I think it's a great partnership for both parties involved, especially TNA. It works out for them tremendously. It really gets them their name on the map, having them a part of NXT. It's a great thing, man. It's a win-win for both parties involved. But there's no company out there, that can compete right now with WWE. No fucking shot. No. It's a global brand, bro. And for what it's worth, hats off to Triple H, man, because that guy knows exactly what he's doing. And speaking of Triple H, the other thing I really want to talk about when it pertains to Triple H is that it was announced that at this year's Hall of Fame, Triple H will be the first inductee in this year's WWE Hall of Fame. And to me, when this was announced and I found this out, I was happy, man. I've watched wrestling for so long, and I remember when Triple H came in. You know, I remember what he was before he came in, and it was a part of before he was DX. You know, when he came in with the overcoat and everything else like that, and really gave off the proper English gentleman, if you will. And what his career has gone on, you know, what he's done in his career up to this point, man. I mean, his career is synonymous in professional wrestling. From his time in DX, from the Click, you know, everything that he's done in his career up to this point, and what he's done now. And creating the buzz and bringing the buzz back to WWE and putting on these great PLEs, and it's becoming more of a global brand at this point. And so many other celebrities and you know, different artists out there are also, you know, getting involved in what WWE's doing. You know, the guy deserves it, man. Triple H definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And I'm happy that he's going to get his flowers, man. I'm happy that he's going to get his just due and finally be a part of the WWE Hall of Fame. He definitely deserves it, man. I mean, the guy is a workhorse, and it looks like obviously he wants what's best for WWE. He's done a hell of a job by doing so, and I think, you know, with all due respect to, you know, everybody else that was higher ups in WWE, to me, Triple H should have been the main guy that was a part of creative from day one for WWE. When he was able to be a part of the, you know, backstage stuff, yeah, Hunter should have been a part of creative for a very long time. I mean, look what the guy did with NXT. I mean, this guy, and that's the other thing too, man, and I mentioned this about NXT a while back ago. You know, here was this guy, you know, Triple H, legend. You know, obviously future Hall of Famer, now he will be in the Hall of Fame. Absolute legend. Hell of a career for himself. And then, you know, they bring in this developmental program with NXT Black and Gold, and man, you know, he just took that shit by storm. And the talent that walked through those doors, bro, back in the day for NXT Black and Gold, man, was just absolutely incredible from top to bottom. From the announced team of Mauro Ranallo to the takeovers and how special they were, the theme song, the entrance, the stage setup, every single thing that they did with NXT and the roster that they brought in, man. Guys like Adam Cole and Undisputed Era with Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong, and, you know, you had those guys. You had Aleister Black. You had that, you know, rivalry there between Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa that really carried NXT to what it was, and it just was great, you know. And they knew exactly. They struck gold, is what they did, man. And they, for weeks on end, I think it was every Wednesday, NXT back in the day was just, you know, constantly putting out banger after banger after banger episodes, man, of really getting the fans invested in their product and leading up to these takeovers, man. The takeovers were usually like the Saturday before the PLEs for WWE, and man, sometimes those takeovers were way better than those PLEs back in the day for WWE. And that's just you know, a hats off to Triple H and his team for what he's done for professional wrestling, man. Because those talents, man, and what he did in Black and Gold, you know, NXT, it was great, you know. The talent that walked through those doors, man, like I mentioned, were just incredible. Keith Lee, Andrade, you know, Shayna Baszler, Asuka, Bayley, you know, Sasha Banks, you know, Neville. I think Bryan Danielson was also a part of NXT at one point. You know, there was just a lot of talent that went through NXT that just was incredible. You know, absolute Athena, you know what I mean? Ember Moon, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, the list goes on, bro. And yeah, when it was announced, I think Shawn and Taker announced the fact that he was going to, you know, Triple H was going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. I was all for it. Absolutely. Rightfully so. It's definitely deserved for Triple H, man. He definitely deserves it, man. He is a workhorse, and he's definitely lifting WWE into, you know, a whole different atmosphere of what it has been for quite a while now. And, you know, sky's the limit for WWE. But, like I said, man, when it pertains to the Rumble, you know, for me personally as a fan, I've always been a fan of the Rumble. I think the Rumble is something that's always going to be synonymous with professional wrestling from here until the day I'm gone. But it's one of those things where the fans are always invested in the Rumble, just like WrestleMania. Because like I said, with WrestleMania, you might know what you're going to get, but with the Rumble, you have no idea who's coming through that curtain, bro. There's 30 women that are coming through that curtain and 30 men that are walking out through that curtain, and no one knows who the hell is going to walk through that curtain. And I think that's one of the best things about the Rumble is you just don't know until you know. But again, man, I thought it was great. And to be honest with you, I know it's a hot take for a lot of people, but I think this year's Rumble for both men and women, especially the women, is one of the best Rumbles that we've seen in quite a while. Especially the women's Rumble. I thought the women's Rumble was great. I thought it was really good. Yeah, it started off slow, but it really picked up in the middle and towards the end, and I thought it was great. I really did. I thought it was one of the best women's Rumbles that I've seen in quite some time. And I was also happy with the outcome of the men's Rumble. I know some people were pissed off, legitimately pissed off, with Jay being victorious in that men's Royal Rumble matchup, but I'm not, bro. Jay is one of the biggest baby faces right now in all of WWE. And he has the fan support like you would not believe. The fans love Jey Uso. And like I said, man, the guy has busted his ass to get to where he's at right now. From him going on a singles run, for him becoming Intercontinental Champion, defending the Intercontinental Championship, and now, trying to go after Gunther for the World Heavyweight title. This guy's doing it by himself, man. He got, away there for a little while from Roman and the Bloodline and started doing his own thing, and it really did pan out for Jay. It really did. So I'm ecstatic for Jay, man. I'm excited for Jey Uso. And like I said before, man, I'm definitely looking forward to who's going to actually, who Jay is actually going to challenge at WrestleMania. Will it be Cody Rhodes for the Universal title, or will Jay try to get his revenge on Gunther and maybe, just maybe, for the first time in his career, become World Heavyweight Champion? But with that being said, this is my review of WWE's Royal Rumble. I hope you guys are out there staying safe. Be careful.